Then there seems to be this bit of throw out some ideas to the audience, get the interaction, bit of banter back and forth, a few insults. Go,
Yeah.
how much of that is planned, or how do you encourage that level of interaction that lets your sort of creative genius flow out?
Well, thank you. I don't know about creative genius. What I find is I actually was just hanging out with two other whip performers just last week, Aaron Bonk and Tiny Girl, Big Show, and we were kind of talking about our approaches. And what I realized is that I wing it a lot more than most performers, which
This guy
is
too.
I'm yeah. I find I do my best work under stress while I'm trying to improvise. And so the way my show is structured is the first 5 to 10 minutes is all just mostly improv. I do two kind of preset whip songs. It's always "We Will Rock You" and then another whip song of some sort. But then I go into audience requests, and that's 90% of what you see on my TikTok, which is me saying like, "Okay, what do you want? Really, you want that? Okay, let's try and do that on the fly." Um, but then beyond that, there's another 25 minutes of scripted material, whether it's working with targets, fancy whip tricks, explaining why a whip cracks to people, um, and then finishing with the whip on fire. But even within those, the Renaissance Festival crowds are such that they like to be vocal. They like to say things. So
I've
even during the scripted bits, they will yell stuff out. And sometimes I respond to it, and sometimes the challenge you can get into with too much improv is things get too off the rails. You need to keep the show semi-structured so it can come to its logical conclusion. And sometimes people will yell out stuff, when you're trying to set up a bigger laugh down the road, where if you acknowledge them, that spoils the joke later on. It's not always the best thing to go for the quick, easy laugh when you're building up a larger, bigger laugh, which has been a source of tension with me and some of my performing partners in the past.
because you've mentioned that you're quite introverted. Like, how
Mhm.
do you switch into this alter ego? Is it like Venom and he's Jack's always inside you, or do you have like a pre? I always want to say like a pre-match ritual. How do you switch in,
Yeah.
or do you just get your whips and go, "Fuck it, let's do it"? Yeah,
I mean, I can get the whips and just kind of go into it, but that never quite works out for me. It's a lot of caffeine first and foremost. The second thing I do is I kind of cycle through pump up songs. So, like you mentioned, "One Winged Angel," the Latin song from Final Fantasy. For a long time, that was the song that I would listen to right before I went on stage.
all right.
I find some kind of music that kind of makes me feel centered, makes me feel focused, and then that's kind of the last impression I have right before I go on. So right before I go on stage, chances are I am backstage for 3 minutes listening to something that's too loud on my headphones. And then as soon as the song ends, headphones go down, we come out, and it's time to be on stage. And so I have that adrenaline to carry me out at the start.
I love that. I love how like it's what people are asking for is actually the thing that you pump yourself up with. Do you think then that do you become a different person when you perform? Do you get this like level of confidence? Do you like are you believing that you're someone else so the normal Jack gets left behind and you can put everything in out and let this personality blossom?